signals are, actually they're lighting up the new traffic signals at French Albany Easton intersection right now. The other two traffic signals are in service. I think the pre-existing ones are pulled down. Water connections, reconnections to the new main are being completed between Somerset and Hamilton. There's some underground PSE&G utility work that's pending in Albany and a little bit in French, which is expected to begin and take place in the middle of the month. Granite Cancer Institute and parking deck, the superstructures are going up, the steel and so forth. The hoists are being installed right now at the intersection of Hardenberg and Somerset. PSE&G substation is in progress, really has minimal impact to the city. There's a bit of a conflict on a portion of the right-of-way that's in the hands of legal. County milling and paving has been completed. Line striping on 2 of the roads, I think, remains to be completed. It's been held up because of weather.
They're doing that tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. For both of those?
Well, Howe Lane, yes. New Street, depends what time they finish Howe Lane, because I told them, due to the Rutgers game and all the traffic that's coming into town, I don't want any interference with New and George. Because Howe Lane, they don't need to shut anything down. New Street, they might have to take the lane.
Okay. So within the next, let's say, two working days, their line striping will be completed, but the paving has been completed within the city bounds. I'll just report on the city's paving, annual paving program. We have 2 streets left to do, and that should be followed up by restoration of pavement line stripings. Well, that covers it, except I'll hit on a few of the topics that are on that other schedule. The Burnett Street Bridge, the first half of the bridge has been put in service. They're moved over and they're demoing the other half. Their target, spoke to project manager on site, is to pour the second half by about the end of the month and then be able to put traffic on it before the end of the year. It sounds like there will be some finish work and possibly some paving, the off-bridge paving that has to be done perhaps next year, but depending on how the weather holds out, they might be able to wrap up the whole thing this year. Their original target was November 6th. They had a long delay for what they call the bridge bearings. What else? I think that pretty much touches on it. Any questions of me?
Well, thank you, Mr.
I
Burke.
think that covers it.
Just one clarification to confirm on agenda item A1, where you referenced the project at Livingston Avenue. The bus shelters have now been installed. Do we know the number of bus shelters that have been installed approximately?
I don't have the exact things. I think there was supposed to be 3 new ones installed. Ken, do you know how many went in?
Find out.
Thank you. But our understanding is that the bus shelters that were designed and planned have been installed now
That's my understanding.
on
That
Livingston
was
Avenue.
that was an act. That wasn't something that's really part of the construction project that's handled by NJ Transit. They install those at no cost to the city under a agreement between the city and the county and them.
If you want, I can have somebody go check.
Sure, I appreciate that.
I'll get that information for you.
Thank you. We now come to item B on the agenda, which is the public comment. Anyone is welcome to come forward, and we simply ask if you could share your name, spelling thereof, and the town.
Hi, yes, Danielle Moore, Somerset Street. I have to say, sad to say, I have a very long list, but due to where, first thing I will say, I'm glad to see someone here from the police department due to where that's going to be my main issue that I'm talking about. I have to say I'm very disappointed in due to where, wow, when I asked for no turn on red with, on either you can say Sanford or Georges Road and Paul Robeson Boulevard, due to where, that was approved back in July. It went through second ordinance due to where July 6th, and then due to where it was never put up, and then due to where it was put through second ordinance again, September 21st. So So like I said, I don't see what the confusion is going on with the delay, where, please tell me, when is the no turn on red sign gonna be put up there on the corner of Paul Robeson Boulevard and?
Ma'am, it's scheduled to be put up today. Our Public Works Superintendent was asked to have it, and he said he'd probably have it done by the end of today.
Well, okay, Shirley, even like I said, I don't know what the confusion was, why it went through July and then you had to wait all the way back until September to go through again, where someone's not keeping up to date with something. And due to where what President Suzanne Secor Lovering tried to tell me no, that it didn't go through already, and I know good and well because I thank Sergeant Abode and Tom Valently on this situation, but I'm glad to hear that it's going up today and hope so. Now, my main things, two other things due to where I talked about, that was the one-way street on Oxford Street. Still too many people turning down, where I asked what, maybe you move the sign and then okay, put do not enter. Okay, now, then again, I do see an issue there, maybe what's causing the situation due to where too many people are still going down that street. Maybe you can ask the owner of B&P gas station to remove the tree, his bush there, and the city trims their tree so the cars can see the one-way sign, because it's happening too frequently, even with our recycling company.
Is this tree blocking?
Oxford Street, where they're going down the wrong way.
What I'll do is I'll take a ride and talk to the owner, see if he can.
Like I said, I got the
I can't
picture.
cut the tree down for him, but I will talk to him and,
Although, like I said, we're friends,
Yeah.
I speak to him, but I just noticed it when I was coming through there, like I said.
yeah, I'll go talk to him too. This way, see if he'll take care of that.
Then, okay, that's the same situation with Railroad Avenue and Seaman Street. Okay, thank you, I do see that the sign was adjusted, but like I said, you still have people going down the wrong way, where I asked, could you please put up do not enter, because like I said, as it's coming from out of Handy Street, due to where you're gonna have a major car accident there, where too many people, like I said, are not respecting these one-way streets. Then my biggest situation is, come on, and I meant, I improved, well, due to what some of you are new, I improved the traffic authority, the city council, the county, and I should have proved to the police department when, like I said, I'm a person that the Lord has touched to see things for a reason, to help someone and save someone from getting hurt. And like I said, out of the past 2 to 3 months, I've been complaining about 911, 745, 5200. It does not need to go to Rutgers Police Department. It needs to be turned back over to New Brunswick Police Department, due to where Rutgers and New Brunswick do not share the same radios. And like I said, due to where I will start off with a list of just for September, how many situations with police and ambulance response. That's for in September 2022. I can't figure out what date it was. That was Oxford Street. Wow, it was meant for me to really be standing there to see, due to where ambulance not getting the correct address, could cost my neighbor his life, due to where ambulance go two blocks away, turn back around, then have to come to Oxford Street, due to where, like I said, something with 911 due to where it's not going through the correct way. That's one issue. Now, I will say September 10, 2022, it was for, I was going to get me something to eat on Remsen Avenue. Lady was having a heart attack. Due to where I don't even trust 911 or 745-5200, due to where it takes too long, and the questions that they ask you is not, I don't want to say stupid, but come on, it's not necessary, and that feeds up the time. Due to where if I just told you I seen a woman who's having a heart attack, I don't know. What are you going to ask me? Keep asking me questions like, oh, did this person do this, do this? It's not necessary, due to where, especially, like I said, if you understand what I'm saying, if I just told you, I don't know the woman, so where are you going to continue? And I prove my point, and if this 911 is recorded, please, yes, it needs to be investigated. I told the owner, wow, would you please dial 911? And I dialed 745-5226, and that was where last night the city council meeting, I thanked Sergeant Bobadilla due to where, and Officer Yasix on this, due to where I called them and said, would you please please send me an ambulance over to the restaurant over there on Remsen Avenue, due to where, wow, what do you know? It proved the point. Well, it only took 5 minutes for Officer Yasik and the ambulance to arrive. Well, the owner of this is still on there with 911 answering questions. So I really think it needs to be investigated. Like I said, I'm going to be a while, and like I said, you will surely see the evidence if someone investigates this. That's September 24th.
Mr. Chair, this is not an issue for the traffic commission. This is an issue for police or the 911 service.
The routing.
Is this still with safety, public safety?
This is a traffic commission, ma'am.
So,
We can certainly relay this concern because.
well, and then thank you for
the
you to
routing.
really even interrupt, like you don't care whether it's true or true or not. Like, come
Don't
on.
put words in my mouth, ma'am.
Well, like I said, for something serious, due to where what, with the officer, like I said, finally someone being here, due to where, yes, it needs to taken seriously.
It's a police matter, it's not a traffic commission matter, ma'am.
Wow, what? I was gonna say something to you, but like I said, right, this is traffic, public safety, due to where,
I got your information regarding the 911. I will relay that information back to my bosses.
and like I said, due to where no matter what, traffic or what, due to where it's still dealing with traffic, due to where what, where you're saying it's not an issue, and the first one I told you was going the wrong way, due to where what, you're saying this does have nothing to do with the traffic, excuse me, it does, due to where eventually, who's ever doing the signaling, the calls over the 911, what? Eventually EMS doesn't know where they're going. So like I said, where you're saying this is not related to traffic, it still has to do with what? With the roads, with what? Some people going to the wrong location, has everything to do with traffic. Due to where what? And like I said, the police department, due to where, how they're going to wrong locations, where I just don't feel with your heart, like I said, with you being nasty coming out saying this is not truly related to traffic. Due to where it has to do a lot with traffic. For example, the next one I was going to talk about, that was George Street, with what? George Street being closed off, due to where what? How it's hard for an ambulance to go to a certain location. What? Is that related to traffic? Is it related to traffic?
I'm not here to play word games with you, ma'am. If you got an issue that's for the traffic commission, please by all means go ahead.
Well, you the one that interrupted me saying that none of what I'm saying has to do with traffic.
Don't twist my words. Don't twist my words, ma'am.
Well, like I said,
I take offense when you try to twist what I said.
please, like I said, did you say 911, the situation over there has nothing to do with traffic? Is that what you said?
What you brought up about 911 has nothing to do with.
Well, maybe you
and
would have let me
there's no
continue
jurisdiction.
finishing, like I said.
This commission has no jurisdiction in that matter. And the officer attendant said he will relay your concern to his superiors.
Well, like I said, with you interrupting me before I got to the chance to really finish explaining my situation, like I said, it does too have to do with regards with traffic. And like I said, for one thing, that's with George Street being closed, where like I said, wow, how hard it is for an ambulance to get down there, or police to get some down there, due to where, even though I think, like I said, I believe Officer Chatterjee, due to where he drives 917, he knows the situation down there, where like I said, God bless him with his help. But like I said, a lot of this has to do with traffic, and I'm just very upset due to where you feel that, traffic, it has to do a lot with, like I said, 911 and the police department. It's still dealing with traffic. And like I said, for one thing, I will say, New Brunswick Police Department and the mayor, like I said, I know you got good officers, but wow, do I feel with traffic relations? Do I feel New Brunswick Police Department taking it seriously? No, I don't. With all the speeding going on, due to where all the accidents going on, hit and run going on. So please, like I said, finally to see I have a police officer here, please tell me wow, when isn't the New Brunswick going to be taken off a standby due to where and start doing their job, due to where letting people go down 80 miles per hour down a 25 miles per hour road, then due to where I keep seeing the city getting all these grants, saying due to where, getting $25,000 for DWI, and due to another grant, maybe 3 months ago, $2,500. I don't know the training it is or the thing it is due to where, the Sergeant of Bold had his officers go out to Livingston Avenue and do the pedestrian like I said, I don't know what is listed under with the police department, where they're dressed in regular clothes, how they go out, and then if no one respects a pedestrian, would they give them a ticket? Has it ever been done?
Yes, we do enforce Livingston Avenue with pedestrian safety. We also enforce pedestrian safety on Nielsen Street. Throughout the city, we actually do that. My officers do that.
So, okay, can you tell me when was Livingston Avenue done?
Every day I have them do Livingston Avenue, different areas. Whenever they're available to do it, in between handling calls, my officers do go to Livingston Avenue.
So you do have a list?
I don't have a list written down.
No,
I know what they do.
Right
So I do have them enforced. We spoke about Livingston Avenue, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I understand the pedestrian issue that's going on there. We do monitor it.
Well, like I said, honestly, I really think the police department needs to do a much better job on due to where, like I said, come on, I've been here 45 years, New Brunswick, never had this much crime, drugs, and like I said, with a car accident every day just about, come on, New Brunswick's not doing something. Like I said, I know that because the mayor has New Brunswick Police Department on standby to make it look like there's less crime and less things going on, but come on. As a resident, like I said, I really think the police department needs to start doing better due to where you can make excuses. Some people make excuses at council saying, it's happening everywhere. But wow, tell me, is it happening in the same location? And just like I put up with North Brunswick, great job, North Brunswick, how they make sure their town is straight. Holland Park, they make sure their town is safe with police officers. But like I said, come on, my last thing is, please, I pray that New Brunswick Police Department starts doing a better job, because like I said, wow, is New Brunswick safe for us with traffic or crime? No, it's not. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the feedback on the policing and enforcing pedestrian issues and speeding issues. Also, thank you for the recommendations regarding the routing of 911. As Sergeant, we have the wonderful benefit on this body to have a commissioner who also is part of the police, and our traffic sergeant will indeed bring that suggestion up the chain regarding the routing of 911 calls. I also personally will share that suggestion. Do we have any other public comment today?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Charlie Craddockville. I live on Sedam Street here in New Brunswick, and most of you know me by now. Wanted to start by taking a moment to celebrate the 8 bus shelters that were installed on Livingston Avenue the week of September 26th, and thank everyone who was involved in making that happen. I have communicated with Mr. Valenti and Mr. Dominguez, concerned though that 7 of them have the seat installed in a position that seems to be unorthodox, where the rider would actually have their back to the street, make it hard to see the bus when it's coming, and to look backwards like that. So I know Mr. Dominguez was looking into it.
Can I jump in?
Please.
Because I don't have an answer for you, but I just wanted for the board's edification. I did actually go out after, Mr. Craddock called me last week on this. To me, it does look unorthodox. I don't know if there's an intent or a design element behind it. Tom and I are looking into, John Valenti and I are looking into why. I don't have an answer yet. That may be intentional. There may be a design choice for it, and but we're unaware of it. But it does seem kind of odd that you're facing the back, your back is facing the bus. So admittedly, yes, I did think that was kind of unusual.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Dominguez, for being responsive and checking it out right away and running it to the folks who might be able to get us an answer on that. For the record, the one that has it installed the traditional way is the one at Ellen Street. So if you go to Livingston and Ellen, you'll see what you would expect to see. The other 7 that went in that week are all a little bit unusual, but people are still using them, still better than nothing, and pleased to see that progress occurring. For the record, though, there are still 3 locations, I'm told, where there ought to be a bus shelter under the plans for Livingston Avenue, but they have not been installed yet. The locations are Morris Street, and then the northbound and southbound side of Handy Street has bus shelters, but they're older, and I think the plan was to replace them with the newer ones. But Morris Street, to my knowledge, unless it's gotten installed in the past couple of days, has none. That would be like by the public library. So looking forward to getting more bus shelters. As you know, I've worked with the Traffic Commission for years and other agencies, including the New Brunswick Parking Authority, to get bus shelters installed in the hopes of increasing ridership and better public experience for people who do use the buses. Pleased to see Sergeant Abode here today and Mr. Wong from Rutgers. And I do want to express a concern that a couple of the bus shelters that I fought for and got no longer have buses that stop there, because unfortunately both Rutgers and the county have cut back their bus service pretty significantly. So I know there used to be a route, the New Brunswick shuttle. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but the parking authority worked with Rutgers and I believe NJ Transit to have a route that would go around the 5th and 6th Ward. It's also called the 5th and 6th Ward shuttle for a while. And worked with the parking authority to get a shelter installed at Kirkpatrick Street in front of the wellness building. And to my knowledge, the New Brunswick shuttle is gone now. But stop there, and so there's really no bus that stops at that shelter. And then the M5 was a pretty circuitous route that the county ran all over the city, and it definitely needed some improvement, but March of 2020, the pandemic hit, they shut it down. They shut down all their routes, but they brought back the M1, which takes you to Jamesburg, but they never brought back the M5, and here we are now more than 2 years later. Folks who need to get to the Board of Social Services or want to go shop at the Aldi do not have a way to get there. Similarly, the folks who live in the Schwartz-Robeson public housing have no way to get downtown unless they pay for transportation or walk over a mile or use their own vehicles. So I do think that if we want to encourage more transit use, we need to actually offer the service and have more routes. I'd be curious if perhaps, Mr. Chairman, if you see fit to ask the Rutgers representative to speak to the MBQS. I would like to know, what the plan is for that, if that's ever coming back. Perhaps Mr. Chair, and also, I have suggested before that the county send a representative to these meetings, and I know Mr. Solomon Cavanis is a very, intelligent man who works as the head of transportation for the county. You've probably interacted with him before, and I think he would be a great person to have here. He's told me, I've asked about this many times, he says they're working on a new plan for a new bus route to serve New Brunswick. Probably won't be all that similar to the M5, but it will do something, and he says they'll have that plan together by the end of the year. But I am, of course, anxiously awaiting some news on what that's going to look like and what we can expect in terms of public transportation, because otherwise we're just leaving people at the mercy of their own private vehicles and walking around the city. I do think that we can and need to do better as a city in terms of getting people to have options. Not everyone can walk 10 blocks really easily, and if we can have good, reliable, frequent bus service that connects our neighborhoods to educational opportunities like Rutgers, economic opportunities like jobs, and recreational opportunities, all the great things we have in New Brunswick, I think it would make it a better place for the residents, but also for visitors too. So, also wanted to ask about the George Street closure. My understanding is that is set to expire in a couple of weeks, I think 3 weeks from now. What's the plan for George Street?
Do we have an update on that? I do know that the city market organization, in partnership with others, including the city, is initiating a traffic study that would potentially look at the traffic flow around downtown, including the impact of the George Street opening or closure. And that is in the mix. It's something that will take some time, but it's a professional study that they've undertaken with an outside consultant.
Great. Do you happen to know which consultant?
I do not know that.
I can check with them.
But I believe the executive director, Pam, would
Yeah.
know that for City Market.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll be interested to hear the outcome of that. I know a lot of people are, looking at what the future is going to hold for George Street. And then, I'll just say that I look forward to hearing about the old business item, something I've been raising for a while now, and would also close by suggesting that these meetings be held at a time more convenient for working people. Appreciate Danielle and her work, and I do my best to make the meetings if I can and record them so people who can't make it can watch them, but I feel like if they were held in the evening, you'd probably have more participation from the public and probably get a wider array of input. And just hope that we can have more of these meetings at a time that's more convenient for working people. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Wong, is there any comment from Rutgers on the Rutgers question?
Well, I do want to make a brief statement.
Sure.
I'm Frank Wong, Rutgers University. I'm with the Office of Institutional Planning and Operations. Just want to say that Rutgers University has a very significant vested interest in improvements to local roads and circulation of vehicles through the city, based on the fact that we run a very major bus operation to move our students back and forth. And that we look forward to working with the city agencies and the city offices in terms of coordinating projects to help our buses move more efficiently. So just a simple statement, just wanted to kind of emphasize that.
Thank you very much. Now we turn to item C on the agenda, the old business, regarding flashing pedestrian crosswalk signals on Sudam Street at Throop Avenue. I believe Mr. Burke has
I have a pass-through update that I received from Mr. Valenti. Basically, it's my understanding that signal was taken out by a truck some time ago and has yet to be restored, but it's on the to-do list, so it's going to be moved up on the agenda to get that reinstalled.
Thank you very much. Today we have no new business items. However, we do have our roundtable, an opportunity for the various commissioners to share any items that are, within the scope of traffic commission planning. So we will open it up to anybody. Well, we do have one more meeting coming up on the agenda, or on the schedule this year, and then we will be planning for 2023 in the near future. Thank everyone for attending today, and would ask for a motion. We have one to adjourn.
Motion.
And second, Mr. Walker. Do we have all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at approximately 2